Hi there and welcome to my channel. So today's video I wanted to review a fragrance that is a longtime favorite of mine, and it is from the house of Issey Miyaki, and it is Issey. As you can see here, it's printed right along the bottom of the bottle. Issey Eau de Toilette by Issey Miyaki. So this is, like I said, a longtime favorite fragrance of mine. It came out in like 1992, and I remember it being quite popular when I was a teenager and a young adult in the 90s. And so this is definitely a fresh fragrance. It is a fresh floral that is a bit aquatic at the same time, but it's a somewhat unique aquatic fragrance in the sense that it is not really beachy or tropical in any way. In fact, it is more of like a spring water. I'm sorry if you can hear that. My kitten is clawing at my jeans. It's more of a spring water, fresh mountain water, waterfall kind of scent. And I'm just gonna spray it here onto a little piece of paper. So, eau de toilette, but it is, it's quite strong. It's got, you don't need to see the paper. It's got really impressive lasting power for being an eau de toilette, that's for sure. So it's listed online as a floral aquatic, and you do get a lot of white flowers from this, and I will go through and share all of the notes one by one in just a moment, but I wanted to give just the impression from the initial spray. The cleanest, purest water you've ever smelled, but with substance to it at the same time, which is so interesting. And I think I know where that's coming from, and it's ever so slightly sweet. I want to say that if any of you were ever, if you ever enjoyed the bottled water brand Dasani, I always used to feel like, although it was just plain bottled water, that there was a touch of sweetness to it, that they had flavored it somehow, which is sort of curious, right? But it has a sweetness in that manner. It's so faint, it's so subtle. So, all right, 1992 is when this came out from the house of Issey Miyaki. The perfumer is, I hope I'm pronouncing this even close to correctly, is Jacques Cavalier. And let's go through the notes. So the top notes of this fragrance are lotus, which is a very watery floral. We also have melon, which is where we're getting some of the sweetness from. Freesia, rose water and rose. Cologne, which is like a molecule, I believe, and cyclamen. Then in the middle notes, we have lily of the valley, lily, water peony, and carnation. And then in the base notes, we have musk, tuberose, exotic woods, osmanthus, which is also where a little bit of that sweetness is coming from, cedar, sandalwood, and amber, which is so interesting. I mean, think about it. A totally fresh and aquatic, watery fragrance, but with amber in the base. And I think that this is what sets this apart for me from a lot of other fresh, aquatic, watery fragrances that sometimes are a little harsh to my nose, almost a little rude, and can kind of tip into the category or the realm of like kind of a household cleaning product. They can be a little harsh on the nose. But that touch of amber in the base, I think, along with the sandalwood, also with there being tuberose in the base, we have this like lovely bed of an ever so slight warmth, which is just so interesting. I'm kind of noticing the way the light from my lamp here that's just a little off camera is kind of casting a glow on the bottle itself. And the warmth is a bit like that. It's just ever so slight, but it does balance out, I think, some of the overly freshness to a fresh perfume, if that makes sense. This kind of walks the middle line where it is watery and it's clean and it makes you feel like you just stepped out of the shower, but you're comforted at the same time. It's as if you are receiving a warm hug of clean water. And personally, I love fragrances that kind of give you something from both sides, that give you something almost oppositional, but without wandering into the realm of weird and unusual. I'm not a person that's really I'm not a big fan of strange and unusual fragrances, and I know that that's a really popular thing nowadays, but personally I prefer fragrances that are 100% easy on the nose, that my nose just says nothing but yes to. That's just my taste, though. So back to the notes here. Let's go back to the top of this fragrance. So in the top, you really are getting that watery lotus, the sweetness of the melon, and the sort of sweet powderiness of the freesia. I'm also getting a very, very clean spring rose. I do detect the lily notes from the mid-range and the peony. I don't get as much of the carnation, but it's not jumping out at me. When I wear this fragrance throughout the day, I want to say it doesn't change a lot. It's quite linear. It's more like it kind of comes out fresh and sweet and then evolves or settles into something a bit warmer, and then as the day goes on, a bit softer version of itself. So I suppose in that regard you could say that it does change and morph a little throughout a day's wear, but it doesn't seem to go through distinct phases. Like, for example, those of you familiar with Muggler's Angel, that has like 3 very distinct phases. This one, you kind of grow with it. What you smell in the beginning is also what you smell in the end, but just it has a life to it. Does that make sense? It kind of comes out strong and its most energetic self in the beginning, and then it sort of wanes, softens, and warms right along with you, so that come the end of the day, when you are tired, when you are ready to relax, this perfume is there to relax with you, and that's another reason that I love it so much. So lasting power is really impressive for an eau de toilette fragrance. I would say you're going to get a projection, which is, people being able to smell it on you. Projection from maybe a foot and a half away for at least the first 3 hours, which it is quite good in my opinion, honestly. I don't think fragrances are necessarily meant to operate in beast mode. And then I would say for the next 3 hours after that, it's close to the skin. It's intimate, but those who were to reach in and give you a hug would absolutely smell it on you. And then from about hour 6 to hour 8, it's an even more intimate skin scent and is just lingering on the skin ever so slightly by about bedtime. So quite long lasting. That's always a bonus, right? But intimate as the day goes on. All right, so that was Issey Miyaki's Lotus Sea Eau de Toilette, and I don't know if I mentioned here, this is the 3.4 ounce bottle, but no matter the size, they all come in the same shape. So beautiful fragrance, been around quite a while at this point, and still ever so lovely in my opinion. So thank you so much for watching. I do like reviewing older fragrances and some newer as well. There's some good stuff out there that's new, but I think it's getting harder to come by. And I have my theories on that, but all right. Thanks so much for watching. Have a beautiful day and smell great.